Hello. If you're new here, please take a second to subscribe. This book is called The Boy Who Ate America. There once was a boy, sounds crazy, but true, who ate the whole country, and Hawaii too. He said to his mother, "I'm hungry," one day. "You ate luncheon too," she said with dismay. "But I'm so very hungry," he started to whine. But his mom wasn't dumb. She knew he'd be fine. He opened the fridge and had him some pie, then wolfed down a sandwich and leftover tie. "I'm still so hungry," he spoke to himself as he grabbed some more cookies from the very top shelf. And a big squeaky roar from his tummy in need gave proof to the boy that his stomach agreed. But then the boy's eyes turned bright as his luck when he heard a jingling of an ice cream truck. His mouth filled with hope and his mind filled with song at the thought that these cravings would finally be gone. But after he downed every chocolate crunch treat, he took a huge bite of the ice cream truck's seat. The owners of cars on the street looked with fright as their cars all fell victim to the boy's appetite. He ate them all up and gobbled them down, and soon he was eating the whole stinkin' town. Windows and buildings and schools and malls. He even ate broccoli with pink bathroom stalls. His mouth stretched as far and as wide as it needed, then shrank back to normal right after he feeded. He ate up the stores and the banks a day later. He ate all his teachers and even the mayor. Then all of the people in his stomach complained that being down in his insides was really a pain. Being rained on by soda and billboards and gum and napping with thousands down below here isn't fun. "I'm sorry," he said. "I don't mean any harm," while the boy took a bite from the side of a barn. "Why don't I get bigger?" he wondered aloud, as all that he ate showered down on the crowd. The goat and the chickens and the old farmer's bull swallowed up by the boy, who still wasn't full. No time to do house chores or even to play. The boy now ate more than a city a day. He snacked on La Jolla 'cause Blythe made him thinner, had Oakland for lunch, Sacramento for dinner. And then, before thinking of how it would taste, he then went from cities to chomping down states. Nevada on Tuesday with gold dollar jelly. Arizona, New Mexico, snug in his belly. Now Texas took 2 days 'cause it was gigantic. Then Bama and Georgia to reach the Atlantic. He sprinkled Virginia all over the coast, then swallowed New York like a cinnamon toast. He had Boston with beans and Houston with ham, Salt Lake City with Jell-O, and L.A. with Spam. He noshed on Seattle and chewed on Duluth after getting the Space Needle out of his tooth. He munched on the redwoods like chips and some dip, then washed it all down with the old Mississippi. The mid-state of Kansas was all that was left, with all of its refugees feeling bereft. The governor begged for this young man to stop, and he puffed out his chest, all angry and hot. Young man now, you hear me, I pray. Our fair state will not be your next grand buffet." I'm sorry, I wish that I could." And soon it was water where Kansas once stood. In a raft with his mom, and nothing to do, he still felt so hungry, and guilty now, too. Water and water was all he could see. He still wasn't full. What else could there be? "Son, maybe your body's not hungry a bit," she said, wiping part of Detroit from his lip. "See, people feel empty a lot these days, and they try to fill it up in all sorts of ways. Some fill it with food or anger or wine. Some fill it with work or excuses or lying. Some fill it with money or clothing or toys. Some fill it with drama or tension or noise. But the emptiness never gets filled with that stuff. They fill and they fill, but it's never enough. We're all hungry, son, she tried to imbue. Your body needs food, but your soul needs some too. So she gave him God's words and with a loving tone said, Man shall not live by just bread alone. Then right after feeling the strangest sensation, from out of his foot popped the entire nation. There was Florida, Montana, Vermont, and Nebraska, and then came Wisconsin, New York, and Alaska. But now a whole country was all such a mess. Rocky Mountains in Pittsburgh. Times Square was out west. But finally, everyone offered to help to clean off Mount Rushmore, all covered with kelp. They moved the Grand Canyon back where it should be, put all the lighthouses of Maine by the sea. And when every city was back in its place and everyone happy, gave thanks and said grace, then the boy sat down by his bedroom door, and he read and he hungered and thirsted no more. That was called The Boy Who Ate America. Hope you enjoyed it and that you subscribe and come back often.